So, coach, a client is about to enroll with you. You're about to start coaching them, and you're wondering, how do I create a custom plan for this client so they can get the maximum results that they could possibly get with this engagement with me? Well, I have 5 specific steps that you need to take to be able to custom create a plan for your coaching client. And one bonus and the secret to making these custom plans really, really effective. Step 1 of creating a custom plan for your clients is to do an assessment. This assessment would vary based on what is it that your client is actually working with you on, what kind of coach you are. If you are a health coach, your assessment may look like a DEXA scan, a health matrix, and maybe a blood work that you do with your client. If you're a business coach, you might have a business assessment that you may do. It might be an intake form that asks a couple of business questions to get an understanding of the client. If you're a life coach, you might do a wheel of life. You might do a life book assessment. You might do any other assessment that gives you an understanding of where your client is at. This assessment is also really important because it helps you see what your client sees as their strengths and what do they see as their weaknesses. What are some of the things that they're really concerned about, and what are some of the things that they may be really excited about. This assessment becomes one of the foundational details that will help you take the next step. And the next step is to define clear goals with your clients. See, to make a custom plan, you need to know what you're making a plan for. And because of that, you need to define what are some of the clear outcomes, some clear goals, some clear results that your client seeks in your engagement with you. If you have an agreement to work with you for 3 months or 6 months or 9 months or 12 months, you want to know what those goals would look like. What would success look like for you? And what would success look like for your client? And what would success look like for your coaching relationship? See, your clients may have goals that may extend beyond your time commitment with them. It may be something that is much more long-term than your current agreement and your current contract with them could be. And that is why you need to define clear goals for your coaching agreement. What does successful coaching look like for your client? See, all of us have a different definition of success and we understand goals differently. Some goals are obvious to us, but they may not be that obvious to your clients. So it's very important that you define clearly 1 to 5 goals that your client needs to and wants to achieve as a part of your relationship with them, as a part of your agreement with them. And once you've defined the goals, it's time for step 3, and that is to identify what would be the most appropriate strategy for you to be able to get the client to get to the results. See, a lot of times what would happen in coaching is we jump straight into action plan. We don't actually stop for a second to go, okay, what is the most effective technique? What is the effective model that I can use to be able to create the result that my client wants? And because we never ponder and ruminate on that, we never really think about it or give it the due attention, we fall back on our default strategy. And our default strategy is the same thing that we have done with the past 5 clients or 10 clients. But the power of a custom plan, the power of a custom coaching agreement is that you are able to design something, you are able to strategize something that is more likely to get the results to the client that you're working with. Let me give you an example. Let's say if you had a client that you're working with who wants to lose weight, and they want to lose weight, but they're not necessarily somebody who has ever been to the gym. It may be better for you to not lean into strategies around going to the gym, but maybe better eating habits, maybe better snacking habits if that's the challenge that they're facing. So you see, before we get into the exact action plan as to what needs to happen, how it needs to happen, when it needs to happen, what we first need is what's the most effective strategy for that client. And that is why that assessment we did, the goal setting that we did, is so critical, is so important. Because of the definition of the goal, because of what their strengths and weaknesses are, what their current playbook is, what their assessment of themselves is, it'll help you identify what's the right strategy to deploy for this client. As a coach, you have abundance of knowledge and information. You can use all of that abundance of knowledge and information and techniques and ideas that you may have implemented for yourself and for your past clients to build an even more effective strategy. Once you have the strategy in place, once you know what is it that you're going to do overall, now is the time to create an action plan. This action plan is a day-to-day, week-by-week schedule that your client may follow, that you may follow as a coach-client coaching agreement. It may be a plan around what the coaching calls are going to focus on week after week, what are some of the results that we expect week after week, so we can have some sense of certainty that our client is making progress, that we are in the coaching relationship getting them what they really signed up for. The more aware you are of this action plan, the more aware you may be of the kind of results that you should expect on a week-to-week basis, and that will give you a lot more certainty of overall outcome to this coaching agreement that you have. And this is where the secret comes in. Once you have the action plan and you're seeing the results for the clients week after week, you're seeing them progress week after week, well, then comes the final step, which is to celebrate and to celebrate the success. This is one of those things that coaches and clients often forget because we are in the journey, we're in the mix so much, we forget to celebrate what has already been achieved. And it's very important that you have many different celebration points in your coaching agreement, in your coaching relationship with your client. If you don't celebrate what has been achieved, often your clients will forget the successes they have had, because a lot of the successes that you would have initially with your clients will feel like little wins. Oh, I changed a habit around snacking. Yes, it's a small win, or it will seem like a small win, but if somebody stops snacking unnecessarily, it may be a long-term win for their overall weight management and overall well-being. These small wins seem small, but they are huge. And so celebration of every success is a critical path and a critical point in every good custom coaching plan. And that's why you do it customized, because you actually get to celebrate when they achieve those success points that are only relevant to them, are important to them. And then there's the sixth, but a very important step that actually sits between strategy and action. See, when you're taking action towards that plan, you will find that if you don't monitor what's actually happening for the client, you may be taking action and you may feel like there is progress that's happening, but your client doesn't feel like that they are actually not moving towards their goal. And that's why you need to monitor at all given times as to what is it that your client is actually experiencing as those actions are happening. Are they seeing the results? Are they moving towards the end goal that they wanted? Is the strategy still relevant? Is the action plan still relevant? And if it is not, then you need to change it. So it's almost one of those things that sits between the strategy and action plan that is always adapting based on feedback. So you get to monitor if your clients are actually moving towards the results that they desire. If you would be using this 5-step +1 custom coaching plan creator for your clients, share that with me in the comment section below. I'd love to hear how you're taking this strategy to create the next custom coaching plan with your clients. Thank you so much for watching. This is Coach Ajit, and I'll see you next week.